because we want to get into sharing and riffing on ideas, techniques to dissolve stress and add vitality. So before we started this conversation, Deb said something about glitter. So I thought maybe we should start there.
Well, actually, the first one I was going to say is listen to the first couple of minutes of our podcast and have that on replay.
Oh, there you go. That's yes, definitely that would dissolve stress.
Just then that introduction then, it and my whole my whole body just fell into it. Now there's moments when Moira talks, my body doesn't fall into it, but right then that one fell into it. So
Beautiful.
clearly it was required. My body was requiring right then.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hello.
I always pause. How is she going to greet us this day?
How's she going to do this? Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome, dear listeners. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations. And today, this is a really good one. Well, they're all good because just let's face it, we wouldn't be talking if they weren't good ones.
Totally.
Totally. So technique to dissolve stress and add vitality. Don't you love that wee bit? Add vitality. Let's add some vitality.
Even just that add vitality makes you put your shoulders back. Was
Yeah, it
me
does.
when with the techniques to dissolve stress. I'm like, yep, and add vitality. My shoulders instantly went, ooh,
Yeah, there's
ooh.
this little lift, which talking about that, before we get into our tips and techniques, talking about the lifting your shoulders, let's just bring in some land into this space and time and create some heart coherence. And so I invite you to, if you're sitting or if you're standing, just roll your shoulders ever so gently open so you got some nice openness in your heart space. And if it feels right for you to do, place one hand or both hands. I've got a big, huge snowplow coming by.
I love that you got snow and I'm in a singlet today. Yeah.
So placing your hands, make it so, set the intention that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. So take a nice deep breath, expand your chest. Feel that breath in your belly and then let it out. Really allowing you to just land here. And again, into your heart space, down into your belly. And as you do that, just intend that you drop a root down into Earth's core, grounding you into Mother Nature. And breathe in that support. And sigh it out of your mouth. Starting to feel the connection of the other people listening to the recording, no matter where they are or what's going on. Connecting heart to heart. And now this time, breathe in. And breathe out, sending a root up to Father Sky, up into the cosmos. And let that nurturing energy come pouring down into your heart. Good. And just pause for a minute and feel that beautiful support. Mother Earth, Father Sky, and then the support of all of us unifying our heart energy. Breathe that in once more. And breathe out. Give your shoulders a wee shimmy. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And grab your note-taking device, because we want to get into sharing and riffing on ideas, techniques to dissolve stress and add vitality. So before we started this conversation, Deb said something about glitter. So I thought maybe we should start there.
Well, actually, the first one I was going to say is listen to the first couple of minutes of our podcast and have that on replay.
Oh, there you go. That's a yes. Definitely that would dissolve stress.
Just then that introduction then, and my whole my whole body just fell into it. Now there's moments when Moira talks, my body doesn't fall into it, but right then that one fell into it. So clearly it was required. My body was requiring right then. So even just that, just play the first couple of minutes of this podcast. But the next one I'm going to say is, I talk about a glitter bomb. If you haven't heard me talk about that, then where the heck have you been?
Where have you been?
Exactly. Where have you been? Because literally in everything I say. And that, when I talk about your glitter bomb, I'm talking about do the things that you love to do. Do what lights you up. Do what lights you up, whatever that is. Ensure that you've got some glitter throughout your day that you feel fulfilled by. And that could mean go stand in the grass with your shoes off, or it could mean turn your phone off, or it could mean stand outside and let the wind brush in your hair, brush through your hair. Like it could mean listen to a podcast of only Debz and Moira's. It could mean anything. Do whatever those things are that light you up and you feel like you've got some glitter into you. And because that instantly will dissolve your stress and will add a level of vitality into you.
Definitely.
Or Moira calls it Moira has a a
self-soothing kit.
Self-soothing kit, yes, like and get the words out. A self-soothing kit. So she has that has those things in it. But she actually has it so when your brain can't think, that you can just go, I'm just going to pull a card from here and do this and do that. Because sometimes when you're completely in a discombobulated state and you cannot see clearly, because we get like that, and even Moira and I get like that sometimes as well, because we're all human, is we have that self-soothing kit that you can just go and pull something out.
I wrote that one as a separate tip because I think that's a really important part. That I think that your glitter bomb and my self-soothing kit, they both need to come into this conversation, because that's what we're doing, is we're talking about technique to dissolve stress and add vitality. And to your point, Deb, we do experience times of discombobulation and things going chaotic, and we're not going to remember like, oh right, I'm supposed to go and stand on my bare feet in the grass.
I don't want to stand on my bare feet. It's not going to bloody happen. Yeah. And you get like that, and then you literally have this whole scenario in your head, like take my shoes and socks off and stand on the grass is not going to help me because I've got a lot of things to do. Like you do, or is that just me, Moira?
Yeah, I can't say that I really do it that way. But I think where I'm coming from about adding this, and to your point, it's the physical reminders. So I always have jewelry. I always have a spinner ring on my thumb. So the spinner rings are great for if you're feeling anxious. And so doing something tangible helps you get out of that conversation, that dialogue that you were just riffing into. But I like to have things, and some of my clients create self-soothing kits that are like a whole bunch of Post-it notes on their wall or on their desktop. And I've shared this with you before. I'm going to have to get a collection of yogi tea bags and send them to you, Deb.
Oh my gosh! When I come and visit,
it will stock you up. But that's something that I do. I have a collection of the quotes that they resonate at some point, and then they sit there. They sit on a little shelf beside my computer here. And so the one that I grabbed to share with you here is many paths lead to the same destination. It doesn't matter how you get there.
Yes.
Yes. So that's why I think it's important to remember you can have a glitter bomb. You can have a self-soothing kit. You can do it your way. There
Yeah.
are so many ways to dissolve stress and add vitality. We're sharing some of our favorite ones, but try them, tweak them, make them your own,
Yeah.
right?
And some days what you have in that kit isn't going to work in your head, you know, and so then you pull out the next one. And it is that, but yeah, do what works for you until it doesn't, and then level it up or change
Yeah.
it, change it.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
So
Yeah.
that's actually a really good point too, because that's what I like to think of is having these ideas, but I like to say but doing it with a light hold, right? So you know that a technique works for certain times. So what I mean by a light hold is knowing I'll try it, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean the technique's broken. It means it just doesn't suit this thing, right?
That's right. That's
So-
right. Because there's things that I do now. I mean, if someone said to me 5 years ago, Deborah, you're going to love walking around your garden, I'd be like, there's no way. That is just, I would say that's stupid. But one of the things is, I would have, because I like a garden. No, these nails don't do, no. I would have argued with you.
Right.
But I love going out and just seeing and just walking along the edge of our garden and seeing how the flowers are changing, how the flowers.
Yeah, you often talk about that. Yeah.
If you had asked any of my people 3 years ago, even they would be like, what, you like a garden? I'm like, no, I don't like gardening. I do like going in and I appreciate it because it just takes me away from that. But so I've changed, and that's one of the things I value. And when it's windy and rainy, I ain't going out to my garden. I can tell you that. I don't like feeling the wind in my hair. Go to a hairdresser. Like I'd say, go feel the wind in your hair. Yeah, I get that from running from the front door to the car. Like, no, I don't need that. But there's different things, and I guess that's that thing is, you know, when you're talking about that self-soothing kit, it's not fixed in concrete.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But as you were describing that about when you like to go and enjoy your garden, the next tip I put here was gratitude. Gratitude. So you're grateful for the garden, but you're not going to necessarily feel like I have to go and be grateful for these flowers when it's pouring a rain. Right?
No.
So it's like, so what I wrote here was gratitude. That is a practice of it, all of its own. You and I've shared on these episodes before that we both have gratitude practices. I do mine at nighttime as I'm going to sleep because it's just a beautiful way to wrap up my day. But what I put here was what fills your heart here.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful way to actually keep gratitude going throughout your day, because if you're feeling overbooked or over busy, or what would make my heart sing right now? And it could be pulling that yogi tea thing that I just read out to you, or it could be going for a walk or going cuddling my cat, or right.
Yeah.
So being grateful that I have all these options maybe is a thing to say.
Well, yeah, I think the beautiful thing that was also I want to say is you're not alone in this. You know, if you're looking for the techniques to dissolve your stress and vitality, there are people around you who are holding energy and space for you. Now, I'm not going to say, you know, your family and all those things. Like some have hidden agendas, like do this, and that's okay. But you're not alone. Moira and I are here. We're here to hold your hand, to guide you, to nudge you, to level you, to dissolve, whatever
Dissolve that stress,
stress is. We can do that in a private call with you. So you can, you know, even just going, if it's too much, just bringing out one of the podcasts and just listening to one of those. Sometimes that's enough. But if it's not a physical being or a person, you're not alone in any of this. You're not alone, even if you're like, but no one's around me. There's always people around you in some form or another. Moira and I have, what did we say? We did this, I think we said over 80 years experience, didn't we?
I think we did.
Over 80 years experience between us.
Yeah.
We're here.
Mhm.
We're here for you. We've got the expertise. We walk our talk. We're here. We've served thousands of people around the world,
Yep.
helping them.
Yep.
We're here for you. Our hidden agenda is, if you want to level up, we're here for you. If you want to remove your stress, we're here for you. If you want to add vitality, we're here for you. We're here for you in a way that you will get results.
Yep. And often a lot faster than you might think.
I was just thinking, and you better hold on because the earthquake happens. I actually said to someone, they said to me, "You wouldn't believe what's happened with me after 2 sessions with you." And I was like, "Yeah, it's like an earthquake." They're like, "Yeah, you rattled my cages and everything, and you said to me, hold on, because shit's going to get real."
Yep.
And then I'm like, "Yeah, and what? I told you, I pre-warned you."
I've
But
had
it's
that feedback too. It's like, who knew it would be this fast? Oh,
easy. What's the other one? Someone said, and so working with you is easy, Moira. Like
yeah.
it's not as daunting as what we think. And for me, I mean, I definitely laugh a lot, but people are like, but it was actually easy. Wasn't as
Yeah.
hard as what I thought. I'm like, okay, right. Well, here we go. Let's dig in. Yeah. So you're not alone in this.
And I love that you brought that in, because that exercise that I do, some form of us coming into heart coherence each
Mm,
time we do it, that coherence is actually always there. So if
mm,
you're having a wobble or feeling discombobulated, just put your hand on your heart and just imagine, pretend, feel, listen to my voice, hear my voice. You
yeah.
talk to yourself, just I'm connected to Mother Earth and Father Sky, and I'm coming into the loving support heart energy here.
Yeah.
It's always here. We don't remember it though. When we've got stress and discombobulation and all that
Mm,
pressure building, we don't remember. So that's why it's so important to have reminders around you.
yeah.
And that's, like you say, I like that you said, you're not alone. That's a
Mm.
story. Can be a story.
It is. And also, and I'm going to bring the 2020 stuff. People keep saying they're alone. It's like you're actually physically you might be, there's nobody there, but there's always somebody, there's always an energy, there's always a presence, there's always
Mm.
something going on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a vital energy. That adds
Mm,
vitality. It's like vital life force energy is always
yeah.
there. We can
Yeah.
tap into it. We
Yeah.
just don't always give ourselves. That's it. Like sometimes we can get too caught up in our thinking mind and we
Mm,
forget, no, wait, I can come into my feeling and I can actually feel myself being hugged by
yeah.
this vital force, vital energy that's all around me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking the amount of times Moira's had to pick me up when things have gone wobbly. And even I can't. And so even professionals, I'm a professional at what I do, but sometimes I can't see out of my cloud of smoke, you
That's when it's
know.
so important to reach out, because you and I have done that for each other so many times that
Mm,
I can do it for others
yeah.
and you can do it for others, but doing it for ourselves sometimes can be a bit of a struggle, which
Mm.
is why it's kind of like, oh, hey, Deb, I need to. There was this going back a couple of weeks where we were both going through something.
Oh, I remember that.
And we didn't
Oh,
do any recording. We didn't do any recording because it was kind of like, nope, there's other stuff going on. You have to
that's
hold
right.
space for me, and I had to hold space for you.
That's right. They were like, yeah, and I think we'd planned to smash out quite a few. Yeah, I
Yep,
remember that.
yep.
Yeah, I
And
was
it was
like,
like, yep, not
no,
happening today.
we both pulled up at each other on the video and I went, oh, she ain't doing one.
Nope,
I ain't doing one. Here we
nope,
go.
nope.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing that with you listeners because it's so important. We walk our talk. That
Mm,
there are times where it's kind of like, yep, we just really need to hold space for one another. And we're both very good at doing that for each other. Right?
and we're great to see the wobble and deal with it
Hmm.
100%. But also, sometimes you've got to have an outside source
Yep.
to see and feel and do the work for you.
Give you a
Yeah.
little tap, like, how about look at this? How about look at that?
I'm in Moira's self-soothing kit and she's in my glitter bomb.
There you go. Absolutely. Yep.
Just throw those names at the cat. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, So when we go to dissolve stress and add vitality, I'm going to bring in something called the 4Ds.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4Ds are only doing what you love. So when you get an exercise or you get a task or you're going to do something, I want you to look at it and go, do I want to do it? So you're either doing it. Can I defer this? Meaning put another time frame on it. Do I want to delegate it? Because I really don't want to do it. So when you delegate, ensure you give it to someone who loves to do that task. Don't delegate it to someone because of obligation or anything like that.
No.
And one of the other ones I have is dump it.
Yep.
If it's not important, dump it.
Mm.
So do it, delegate it, defer it, or dump it. And that just frees up your mind. So each day, each moment, you're actually walking in a glitter moment. You're actually going, I'm only doing what I love. I'm doing
Yeah.
what I love. I don't want to do that. And that just allows those 10 tasks that you're going to do in one time frame, 10 tasks, and it can all be resolved
I think
because
that's such an important part because it really frees up your bandwidth. Because if you're going around with things that you would be better off deferring it or dumping it or delegating it, and you've got them there, it actually creates more of an energy drain, which actually is not dissolving stress, that's increasing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, that just helps you clear the stage, clear the energy, dissolve the, oh, I have to do this or I should do this. But
Yeah.
I was saying this recently. Every week I sit and I write up a whole to-do list, all the things that I want to have happen in that week. Sometimes it has to get rewritten during the week because I've attended to lots of different things and it shifts. But there's times also that something just keeps getting carried forward, carried forward, carried forward. And sometimes that keeps getting carried forward for like weeks and months. And there comes a point when, and I think I'm up to 6 months. If something's carried forward for 6 months, it has to be dumped. That's kind of a little rule that I've now got for myself. It's like, well, I obviously don't want to do it that much.
No, and yeah, totally. I also laugh at the ones when you just go, oh look, I'll just do it. For goodness sake, I'll just do it. And then you do it and it's only like
And it's
half
like, oh
an hour or
gosh,
something. You're like,
did it
that
in
was
half an hour.
well, it's how much bandwidth has that taken in your brain?
Yep. Yep.
Like
Totally.
every day, oh, I've got to do that. I need to do that. And oh, I should do that. Da, da, da. And then you do it and you're like, actually, that wasn't as bad as nowhere near as bad as what I thought it was going to be like. Yeah.
So leads me to a tip here is to watch the stories that you're telling yourself.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, to your point, sometimes you might have something on your list. Oh, that's going to take me like 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's too
Really?
long. Yeah, this is too hard. This is too long. This is this, and this. Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
and then you're literally left going, man. But don't go back and go, how many hours did that take up my bandwidth in my brain? Because that'll spiral you into more stress.
Yeah.
And
There's
and
no
your
vitality there.
yeah. Yeah, that's just a brain funk. Yeah. I
Definitely.
think, when I talk about doing things you love, I know I've mentioned that because I do believe that's a great way to release your stress, do things you love. But also when I'm talking about that's eating and exercise. Now, if you looked at my eating pattern or my exercise, you'd be like, Deborah, why are we listening to you? Why are we listening to your exercise? So if you're looking to dissolve stress, check in with your food. Check in with the food eating, what you're drinking, what you're putting in your mouth and what comes out your mouth. Now, when I say what comes in your mouth and what comes out your mouth, I'm also talking about the words and food and your nutrition, and are you breathing fresh air, or you're in a confined space where you're staying at home all day long and you're not even going outside to appreciate the air. What are those things? Are you wearing the clothes that fit you? Because if you're wearing clothes that are 4 times too small, you're already dissolving the stress. I mean, you're already adding more stress
adding
onto
to
you.
it. Yeah.
If you're a certain size and you've got your, you're trying to squeeze into something 3 sizes. That's like having a size 10 foot and trying to put on size 6 shoes. Like
Ow.
it's, yeah, that's
That would be ow.
no, there would be on a massive level. So when I think about that, ensure that you're doing those things. You're eating, you're drinking, you're doing what physically feels right for you. Move, walking to the letterbox. Well, we have a letterbox that's actually on the street, so some people don't have those letterboxes. But even just walking to the end of the street and coming back again just gives you those vitality things that take you away from the situation you're in.
Yep. So what I wrote alongside this tip is doing your PEMs.
Oh my God,
yes. So
physical,
this is your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So you wanting to be nurturing and nourishing your physical being, your emotional being, your mental being, and your spiritual being. And these ideas, like you're saying, go for a walk outside and eat nurturing food and speak good words, think good thoughts. These are all components to that recipe of creating balance and nurturing to your 4 pillars.
Yeah. PIMS is PIMS. Yeah,
PIMS.
that's exactly it. The PIMS. How could I forget the PIMS? Uppercut. Cancel. Yeah, totally.
But this is why we have to keep having these conversations, because we all need reminders, right? We all do. You do, I do.
Yeah. And they're and I think that's the other thing is they're little reminders that come up in front of us, and it's whether we see them or hear them.
Yes.
But sometimes we can ignore those little reminders or those little things that come up and we're like, I remember this happening a week ago and I didn't do anything about it. Oh, yes, I remember eating this particular type of food and it didn't do well with me. So here I am eating it again. Oh, yeah, I remember talking to that person and them challenging me and I really don't want to talk to them again. Oh, that's right. Now I remember. Your physical body won't lie to you, but your mind will go on a massive flip and wander if we let it.
And that's such an important part too that I've said before. So I love how you say that. Your body won't lie. But the other part too is your intuition speaks once. Your intuition, the message speaks once. It doesn't keep repeating itself. If a message is repeating, it's coming from your head. It's not your intuition.
Yeah, it's
so
like,
that's why so it's so important. And oftentimes our intuition comes through signals from our body. Like your heart pounds or skips a beat, or you get a feeling in your gut, or you get a bit of a headache, or these are all ways of your own wisdom saying yes to that or no to this. Pay attention to this. Be mindful of that. And then to your point, if we get too caught up by the propensity to, I'll just get this done. I'll just push through. I'll just take care of this. That's the doing, and we've missed it. We missed that. And then sometimes we can think, oh my gosh, I knew that I shouldn't have done that. I knew, because my body told me, or my intuition told me. So it's so important to listen, to receive, to get it.
Yeah.
Brilliant way to dissolve stress.
Yeah.
Because you're staying present to your own guidance, right?
Let's open your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
If you're looking to dissolve your stress and add vitality, I'm going to say a word called, starts with C, and it's called, Moira's like, it's called comparison. Comparison. Comparing yourself to others if you are comparing yourself to others, you're already going to add stress and it's
Yep.
going to deplete your vitality.
Yep.
So be aware of your comparison. So see people for who they are, know that everyone has both sides. And there was a podcast recently, Moira and I were talking about it, and it was called, and she talked about social media. They've got their highlighted reels.
Yes.
And they're not showing their bloopers.
Nope.
But be aware of that as well. So when you're comparing yourself to others, so just see that you're only seeing the highlighted reel. So stop comparing yourself to others. What feels right for you right here, right now.
Mhm. Yeah, and we've talked about this before, that if you see something in someone that you think, oh, I'd love to try that out or be that or feel into that, then
Well,
that's
they're so
a
creative.
gift. That's a,
They're so creative. They're creative at that. Look at where your beautiful creativeness comes
Yeah.
into it.
yeah, own it, bring it in. But it's not just, if you start looking in comparison and thinking, oh, I'm less than them, that's when you got to do the cancel. Not doing that anymore. That will always accumulate stress and make you believe that there's something wrong. And I've got quotation marks on that, because there's nothing wrong with any of us.
Yeah.
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
we're evolving and discovering and shifting and changing and developing, but it's
We don't
not
need to
because
improve
we're
ourselves
wrong.
as leveling up. Yeah. My mind's running a mile here.
Uh-oh.
Tick, 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 tick. With your, if you're looking to dissolve the stress and add vitality, I want you to look at would love you to look at the people you have around you. Now, I know we talked about Moira and I being there for you, you're not alone, but look at the people. Are they inspiring to be around? Are you hanging with people who actually live in a grateful world? Are you hanging with people who want to do the best with what they have? Or are you hanging with people who suck your blood dry?
Or complain or get negative or
Yeah.
yeah.
Not because if you're hanging with those people who are ungrateful, unthoughtful, if you're hanging with those people, I reference it like a rotten fruit. And I'm going to reference them that they're a rotten fruit. You put that rotten piece of fruit in the fruit basket, what happens to all the other
They
fruit?
all get rotten.
They all get rotten.
Mold grows.
Over time, some are quicker than others. So be aware of who you're hanging around with. Be aware that you want the fresh fruit around you, the fresh nutrient fruit, not the rotten fruit. And say no. If it doesn't feel right, say no.
Yes, that's an important one. You have the right to say no.
That's a whole tip on its own, actually. No. Yeah.
Yes, it is a tip on its own.
Yeah.
Because, and this is the other thing too, leading on from that idea of saying no, is techniques to dissolve stress can be up-leveling your own self-worth. You are worthy of being around fresh fruit. You are worthy of feeling vital and on track and purposeful and finding meaning and making your heart sing. You are worthy of these things, and you are enough just as you are. I really encourage you to just breathe that in. You're worthy and you are enough. And that in itself can start to dissolve stress of, oh, but I have to get this done and I'll be worthy when I get there. That if that type of thinking is clouding your judgment, then that's going to be kind of festering that stress up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think, even that, and sometimes people find that hard,
Yes.
is to love yourself, hand on your heart. I live here. I love myself for the actions and decisions I made today. You're a beautiful soul. Saying those words to yourself. I remember years ago, someone said to me, would you say those things you say about yourself to a friend?
To another, yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And I often think
Never.
like that. I'm like, heck no, I'd never say this stuff to a friend. I'd never say it to my daughter. I'd never say it to my mother. I wouldn't say it to the Queen. Like, no way. And it's like, well, why would you say it to yourself?
Yep.
And I think that's just that that uppercut back at yourself, like, actually, you're right. I would not use these words to anyone else.
Yep.
So why use them to yourself?
That's what I used to say that, or I still do say this. If somebody starts to tell me like they're criticizing themselves, I'm terrible this, I'm not, I will say, would you speak to other people like that? And they say, oh gosh, no, I'd never speak to another person like that. And then I'd say, well, aren't you a people too?
Yeah, but you're very sly. Next thing you're like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
righto, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That all comes into self-worth. You deserve to be talked to and about as though you were beloved, because you
Yeah.
are. You're a
Yeah.
beloved being, right?
Yeah. The tips we've shared, we're still going, but the tips we've shared are so important. They're just little ones that actually go, actually, I could do this. I
Yeah.
could do that. So going on that, you are worthy and you are enough. You can do this. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the other thing I'm just going to add in there is you can do this. You can do anything you want when you believe in yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
I think about Colonel Sanders. He believed in himself so much, and then finally, when he was older, it finally landed with him. The man who did I can't even think, did the light bulb. How
Yeah.
many rejections did he get? A gazillion. And then finally,
Yeah, hundreds. Wasn't that 900 and something
yeah, something.
attempts?
I'm going to Google. But that's it. So he believed in himself. So it's to get through life, you must believe in yourself.
Is that a Napoleon Hill quote that says, what your mind can conceive and you can believe, the mind can achieve. So an
Yeah.
idea that your mind comes up with and you believe it, then you can achieve it. And so that's, maybe you need to repeat that one over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how many times can you think of conversations where somebody gets an idea, oh, but people like me can't achieve that. People like me will never get anywhere. So you're talking yourself out of the belief of it.
I know.
Right? So that's what you just said, is that you can do epic things. In fact, there are other teachings that say for every dream that you can have, it's possible for you. It wouldn't land for you as a dream if it was not possible.
Well, I think Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts.
Okay, I thought it was 998, but okay, he made even more.
1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. 1,000. Imagine his belief in himself.
And imagine if he gave up. Imagine if he's like couple hundred and that, there's no point in it. It's not going to happen.
I couldn't go and turn my light on.
That's right.
Look at the light bulbs, how they've changed it. But yeah, you think about that. The belief.
And so
1,000 attempts created.
So you see, he didn't have a lot of BS though.
Oh, he didn't have time.
Well, the BS is the belief system. So a belief system is, oh, I can only try X amount of time, so therefore I'm going to give up. He had unwavering, unrelenting belief this can be done. And actually is proving what I just said about if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Well, that's a Martin Lutherism, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's true because every problem has a solution.
Yes.
Every the problem.
Yeah.
Back to that. Yeah.
And
I think
that's an important piece here too. That is a tip on its own, is to remember every problem has a solution. That's actually a beautiful stress buster. Because if you're getting stressed out by problem, like, oh, solution exists, I just need to surrender or open up or look a different way or invite it in even. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's remembering, and one of I had a big wobble, and we're going to roll this into summing up our tips, by the way, people. But one of the things is I had a quite a big wobble over Christmas, and there was something that happened, and it just threw me right out.
Mm,
And my partner said, what can you see that I can't see? What can you see that I can't see? And I just said, I can't see an answer.
yeah.
And my partner, she was just like, oh, you always see an answer. I'm like, I can't see an answer. Right now, I can't see an answer to this. I can't see a solution to this problem.
Mhm.
But I trusted, and I don't know if we've got trust in here. We've not got trust in here either. Far out. Okay.
No,
So
we didn't. Okay, trust is here.
we're ending it on trusting, because the trust, when I trust I'm going to get there, it's going to come.
Mhm.
And instantly she was just like, are you sure? And I'm like, it's going to come. Every problem has a solution. I know that. And at the moment, all I can see is the problem. I can't see the solution. But it was the trust that pulled me out of that, to know those last two tips, that every problem has a solution. There's a solution to this. I may not see it, feel it, pick it up right now, but I trust that it's gonna appear. And that's what got me through 3 days. The bloomin' appearance happened. It took 3 days. Not impatient
But
at all.
sometimes we have to, because we don't have a timeline. It's to be patient, right?
And it was letting the attachment go, and just knowing that there is a solution, and I trust that it's going to appear. Can't believe we didn't trust. Beautiful way to end it.
It
But
is.
but that's it. It happens when it happens. I think that time. Well, let's wrap this podcast up. Techniques to dissolve stress and add vitality. Let's go right into this. So if you didn't grab your note-taking device at the start, we'll condense these as condensed as we could.
As condensed as we could. There's a new one.
That's a bit, yeah. So we started with the very first tip we had was actually play the first part of this podcast.
Right, the
and
heart coherence.
The heart
Yeah.
coherent, where we talk, because that instantly dissolves my stress and adds vitality and brings me back to my heart coherent. Is that?
Yeah. And adds
That was-
vitality.
Adds vitality, absolutely.
It
That was
does.
the first.
That was the first one. The next one was glitter bomb. So it's to
Yeah.
do the things that you love, to sprinkle little bits of glitter all around you. That makes you smile too.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Even that, just that. I mean, I have a big drink bottle, which is
There's
glitter.
lots of glitter.
Glitter. Every time I see it, I just smile.
Yeah.
Like I pick it up, I can feel it. I feel, yep, yay, I'm drinking glitter. I literally, it's
Drinking
soda
glitter.
water.
Yeah.
And nothing else in it ever. My daughter tried to put flat water in it, and I was like, no, having water from the fridge, thank you, no. I'll have soda water there. But it does. It's those things that's glitter bomb.
Mhm.
And the next one we had that coincided, jumped onto this one, was actually the self-soothing kit
Mhm.
that talks about, which is a glitter purple snow globe.
There you go.
So in that self-soothing kit, she has a list of things that she pulls out that are relevant for her, and some don't work that moment and some work that moment. In fact, I don't know if you've ever pulled one out and it didn't work, but that's me. When today I'm going to do this, and it's that self-soothing kit, because when you're so discombobulated, sometimes you can't see clearly of where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Always know that there's choices, and that is to have those physical reminders, I think, is an important part.
Yeah, perfect.
The next one we did was gratitude. So asking yourself what fills my heart here, and that was had done that one when we were talking about you. Part of your glitter bomb is to go and look at the flowers in your garden, but you're not necessarily going to do that if it's pouring of rain. And so having gratitude that you get to choose things that do light you up, right? What fills my heart?
And it's your choice.
Yeah.
It's your choice. It's all your choice. It's all your choice. You get to choose what works for you. Of course, so the next tip I have is you're not alone.
Yes.
You're not alone. Moira and I are there for you. You have family and friends, you've got those, but they may have a different motive because they may be more invested in your life and know you your way. But we come in with a fresh mind, a fresh heart, a fresh awareness, and we've got your back. You're not alone at all during any of this time. Moira and I have different time zones. So if you can't get hold of me, you can get hold of Moira. If you can't
Yeah,
get
we
hold of
got you
Moira,
covered. We got you
we've
covered.
got 24/7 covered. That's it. We've got that covered. But we generally are here for you with over 80 years experience in dissolving people's
Stress.
emotional,
Mhm.
stress and vitality.
Mhm. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one of the tools and ideas that we like, the technique, is the 4Ds. You taught me this one. I really like this one. The 4Ds is
Oh,
do a brain dump, first of all the things that you think you have to get done, and
yeah.
then break them apart. You either do it, you defer it, put it off to another time, you delegate it, you get somebody else to do it that really loves doing it, or you dump
Yeah.
it. You just say, nope, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And that was so simple. It's such a beautiful way to just really get clear on what's your bandwidth, what you're doing just now, what you're doing maybe tomorrow.
Empowering.
It is very empowering.
Taking your power back. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
The next tip I have is this. What are the stories you're telling yourself, Leanin? What are the stories you're telling yourself?
What a story.
What are
Watch
those
them.
stories? And pull yourself up on them, because those stories aren't necessarily the truth. They could be a
Yes.
fiction, but just be aware of the stories you're telling yourself, and be aware of the stories other people tell you as well.
Yes. Run them through your truth filter.
Yeah.
The next one I have, we talked about, well, Deb was talking about watching your words and your food and your drinking and exercise, and we condensed it into making sure that you're nurturing and nourishing yourself on all 4 pillars of you. So you're doing your PEMS check-in. So what do you need to feel balanced and nurtured physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? And ensure that you're doing something. This is a self-care piece here too. You want to be doing nurturing, nourishing approaches to all 4 pillars every single day as a priority to fill your cup. This is all about filling your cup. Beautiful way of dissolving stress.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be hard. I just want to add that. It doesn't have to be hard. Stuff doesn't have to be hard. Yeah.
No, nope.
The next tip I've got here is intuition. And your mind can tell you all sorts, which we
Yep.
know. But your signals from your body are there, and they don't lie. They will tell you if this feels right, if it doesn't feel right. They'll tell you if the environment you're in feels icky. It will tell you those things in your physical body, will show you signs, but you'll only get them once, or they get
Yes.
bigger and bigger. Yeah,
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
So keep your eyes open, because your body is giving you something every day at every moment.
Yep. It's giving you the feedback that you need.
Yeah.
The next one is all about comparison. Be aware of comparison.
Yeah.
Don't be comparing your full-length movie story, to somebody else's highlight reel. That's actually, if you think about it, that's a form of self-abuse.
That's
Right?
just
You're
stupid.
Well, you're letting yourself down.
Yeah.
That's not fair. And of course, it does create way more stress.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Totally. Totally. Because it's keeping up with the Joneses, who are really not Joneses, they're Smiths.
You don't need to keep up with the Smiths.
The next one I've got, which is actually funny because after comparison, I've got tribe.
Yes. It's like, look at your trip. Look at the people around you.
Yeah, so choose the Smiths or the Joneses or the Moiras or the Debras, who you want to hang out with, but
Or
ensure
mix them all up. Have a wee bit of all of them.
just ensure that your tribe is there for the best interest for you,
and that you vibe with them. Yeah. I like that. We separated it out as a tip all of its own, as to say no. Remember, you have the right to say no. Saying no is, always remember though too, I like to remind people this, no doesn't mean never. No just means it's not right for me right now.
That's right.
I've checked in with my body and my body says no. Okay, come back to me tomorrow, next
Yeah.
week. No doesn't mean
Yeah.
never, but claim and know that you have the right to do that.
Yeah, it's all, and which moves us into this. Then we get some flow going, because it's actually, you are worthy, and you
Yeah.
are, and it's just reminding yourself of that.
Mhm.
And one of the sentences that Moira said, although she worded it a little bit differently, is, do you use these words or actions to others? Do you
Yeah.
say those
Yeah.
to others? No. Well, then why would you say them to yourself? So it's just reminding yourself that you are worthy, you are enough, and it's a belief in yourself that will get you through with everything. And that's where we talked about
Edison.
Thomas Edison,
Mhm.
about the light bulb. 1,000 times he was unsuccessful in inventing the light bulb.
But he always knew he was going to do it.
Imagine his mind, imagine his partner. I don't know if he was ever married or anything, or what, but imagine that.
I believe
know,
he was. I believe he was, and that she actually completely got that he was dedicated and he was going to get there. So she had the belief in him too.
Yeah, and that's the tribe. That's the thing of having
Yes.
like around. You've got this, but it's not a chat GPT. You've got this. It's actually genuine. I
Yep.
believe in you.
It's
I believe.
heartfelt. Comes from the heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's when we talked about, after talking about that, I talked about a Napoleon Hill quote that basically says, if your mind can conceive something and you can believe it, you can achieve it. And it doesn't, and so it's like, doesn't matter how long. Maybe you might need a little bit of patience. Maybe you might need a wee bit of a reminder to say, I've got this. I can't set the deadline right now, but I know I'm having it. I know it will happen. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where we talked about that every problem has a solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every problem has a solution. And sometimes you can't see that solution, but that is that whole purpose there. And I'll let you do the very last one, the one that we had with the capital T.
Yep. Well, because that's the thing, knowing that every problem has a solution is always saying trust. Just because I can't see it right now, I know. See, this is the other part about trust being an inside job, is that if I see a problem and I can't see the solution, I trust that I will recognize it as it occurs to me, or as it shows up, or as it presents itself. Right? So now I can just let go. Trust.
And that's it. So you're not holding on tight in desperation and frustration, because
Yeah.
it adds stress and depletes your vitality when you're like, why is it not happening yet? Why is it not happening? Why is it not yet happening? And I struggle with patience 100%, but I also do jump into the trust quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to appear. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But if I start focusing on something else, that's usually when the universe provides, because
Yeah.
you've let that attachment go. And then you're like, really? I've been trying to do that for 3 days. And the moment I just go, oh, whatever will happen, blooming happens.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't you love
Yeah.
that? That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Well, listeners, I trust that you got to hear our tips that we shared about our techniques to dissolve stress and add vitality. And I trust that you're going to implement them, because you can listen to this, but if you can listen to them, and yes, it's gone into your brain and it's started to seed into your soul there. But if you really want to dissolve stress and add vitality, no matter how much, if you're at a 10 or if you're at a 5 or if you're at a 2 on stress, if you want to get rid of this stuff and work on it to dissolve it, the next step is pick a tip, pick a technique,
a technique or a tip.
pick one and start implementing it, because it will start coming in within you every day. Choose another one, choose one of these techniques. But I'd love you to do that. But the other thing I'd love you to do is, if you really liked this, we're not geniuses at getting our content out there. I'll be honest. We're not genius. We try our best to do what we can, but we're not brilliant at getting out and sharing our podcasts with everyone. We don't know your network. You know your network. So if you liked this and you got some value from this, well, you clearly did, because you've hung out this long, by the way. I'm just going to tell you that.
Yes.
We've going out this way. If you've liked this and you got something from it, the next step I'd love you to do is invite people to start listening to our podcast. These podcasts with them and engage in conversation, because as you start to level up in your world, they will level up and people will value you. And this allows us to get our message out there, our messages out there to a wider community. So I trust that's landed on you, and that's another tip to dissolve your stress and add vitality, is think of who you can share this with and open that discussion with them, because
you'll help them too.
Absolutely. So I would love to thank the internet again for today. I'd love to thank our technical person who's going to put this podcast together, and that's Moira.
Oh, that would be me.
That's Moira. Yeah, that's
That would
Moira.
be me.
I'd love to thank my podcast buddy for showing up today and sharing her insights into this. So that would be Moira. And I'd love to thank myself for writing notes and keeping a little bit more on track today. But I want to thank you also, people, for listening, for showing up, listening, and taking these tips or these techniques and implementing them into your world. The world will be a far greater place if we can dissolve our stress and add vitality. So let's all do that collectively together.
I love it. And I'm grateful to you too for your wisdom and your sharing. These are awesome conversations. I like it.
Yes. Thank you. And that's us signing off on our deliciously motivated mindset conversation on our techniques to dissolve stress and add vitality. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.